Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello, hello and welcome. Welcome and hello, hello and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Good evening, depending on when you might be watching this. If you ripped the hole in the time-space continuum, congratulations! It's quite an accomplishment. I can't do anything so important myself, so I'm going to make this horrible show, guys. It is un poco Moss, the show where we give you just a little bit more. I want to talk CRISPR today, ticker symbol CRSP. You guys know I've gone on and on and on. And Not a Lurker, the first comment, the great Not a Lurker. I have my Not a Lurker cap on today. I didn't want to bother the great Not a Lurker, the great J Money, because I know he is training the newbies down at his office. Basically, all the weight falls on those broad shoulders of the great Not a Lurker down at that office. Got a bunch of losers down there putting all the work on old J Money. Got to train up the newbies. Anyway, guys, no, thanks for being back with us again today. Not a Lurker, that's why I wear a hat. I'm also going bald in honor of Not a Lurker. Princess J points that out. Quite often, the bald spot is advancing. If this was a war, the front line would be moving, and the bald army would be winning over the hair army at this point. But anyway, guys, that's neither here nor there. Oh, guys, I am such a douche. Anyway, that's not important right now. What's going on? Clap my dog out. I'm sorry, you were saying hi to Not a Lurker, not me. I apologize. Not bad. I thought you were talking. I was like, you talking to me? Talking to me? Anyway, little bit of news with CRISPR, guys. Actually, big news. I might have mentioned this before, but the filing was just 2 days ago. So you see it right here. BlackRock increased their share count. They filed on the 12th, so it's the 14th while I'm recording this monumental broadcast. If you can't sleep, tune into Un Poco Moss and the joke. You're like, was that a joke? I'm not sure. It's the same with my comedy shows. Like, I can't tell if this is a bit or if he's just anxious and sexually frustrated or what's going on. Who's it? Is that fat guy the janitor? No, I think he's the opening act. It's absolute fucking train wreck. Anyway, guys, much of life is, but you just have to pick up the pieces as best you can. But anyway, BlackRock files their 13F. Their average on the stock is now 46.22, and they increased their share count by 132% to just over 6 million shares. So they're the second largest shareholder behind ARK, of course, and then T. Rowe Price also has a lot of shares. T. Rowe Price trims like 3%. State Street actually increased their share count. They filed today, so they increased their share count 35%. UBS filed today. They increased their share count 37%. Orbis Allen Gray Limited, the great Orbis Allen Gray Limited, they increased their share count 76%. Sumitomo Trim, Nikko Trim, I guess they don't like it. The Japanese don't like it. But Vanguard, actually, they're not a huge shareholder on this one, but they increase that. That who I like to follow, more than any other companies is BlackRock and Vanguard. So, with BlackRock increasing their share count 132%, Vanguard increasing their share count 30%, up to 2.3 million shares roughly. It just couldn't be any more bullish. And then that's not even, I think, the most, and the shorts are still at it. I mean, the insiders, there's no insider sells. There's all insider buys. The shorts are still shorting the stock. It's still shorted 27% of the free float, and there's still cost to borrow min is back down to less than 0, but the max is still at 6, which is quite significant. If you look at the official reports, the short only got as high as 28%, and right now it's sitting at 26%. So they've barely taken their foot off the gas at all. It just, not for nothing. I know this data is not accurate because the way it's aggregated, like some holders of the stock are double counted as both institutional investors and insiders, particularly on the Fintel platform. But every one of these websites, none of them are perfect. So you can't go by any, but what you can see on them is the trend. You can see how the data is moving. And if you look, I look at all these websites, Fintel, Finviz, Ortex, I look at all of them, so in my mind, even though it might not be clear with what I'm showing you, these trend if these trends were not what I'm saying, I wouldn't tell you. If I was seeing something else in the data, and I remember numbers, I wouldn't say I'm like Rain Man, like, gotta watch why. I do like People's Court, but um, so anyway, it's just funny to see what they're listing here. Institutional long shares, 102.25% ownership. So there's only 91 million shares outstanding, and they're saying institutions are now holding 93 million. I don't know if they can count like warrants or some type of preferred shares that aren't in the share count. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I think honestly, it's just more of an anomaly, like, false results in the data and things being double counted. And over time, it does tend to work itself out where the percentages tend to make more sense. But then if you look at insiders, it's still showing insiders as 27%. This kind of brings me to my next point. I'll go back to it, but I just want to show you, in my opinion, why this chart is like insanely bullish. Thanks, Stephen Wolf, the great Stephen Wolf. Stephen Wolf created Law and Order. You might check out his posts over on StockTwits. He's quite prolific, but he's got different names over there. I think it's Jack Lives or Jack Lived. It's like a play on the Titanic film. He's a big fan. He froze his twig and berries in there while that lady, whispered sweet nothings in his ear floating on that log. When you don't even test if that thing can hold the both of you. Maybe take some turns and you switch off. Yeah, I guess chivalry isn't dead. You're just going to freeze to death out there. But it turns out, according to Dick Wolf here, that's one of the greatest names ever, Dick Wolf. I know his name's Steven with a PH. You ever notice how, people with like a PH in their name think they're better than everybody, think they're smarter than people, think their shat don't stink? I bet Steven wears a monocle. Who's that other guy used to say wearing a monocle? Whatever happened to Jason Joseph? Jason Joseph looks like he could be a place kicker on a college football team. Them big bullum heads. Never see Jason Joseph anymore. What happened to him? Join the Navy? Get his testicles caught in a manure spitter? I don't know. Anyway, I just wonder what happened to certain people. What happened to the guy who used to be in the igloo? His wife would make him listen to the show in the igloo. He was up in Canada. I think all my Canadian viewers abandoned me. I don't really have any Canadian viewers. What's going on? The great Jeff Presley is here. The great Jeff Presley, of course. So how you doing? Oh, he's all shook up, folks. Of course, Elvis's son. Secret son. Oh, anyway, guys, I completely forgot what I was talking about. Look at the chart. And you could go back even further than this, but just go back to like 2023. No, this number, whether you call it 52, 53, 51, even 50, but it works a little bit better for me at 52 to 53. Just the chart looks a little bit prettier. Look how strong a pivot this is. It pivoted right here in August of 2024. And I'm telling you, it's pivoting again. It pivoted in excuse me, I can't talk. I haven't been sleeping, guys. I can't even think. I quit drinking coffee. It's been an absolute freaking disaster. I'm drinking this green tea stuff. There's no caffeine in this. It's like unleaded. It's like near beer. It's like being, punched in the face by your sister. It's just like, what is this? It's half strength. If you're going to hit me, hit me. Sock it to me. I'm not going to drink a near beer. Just drink a water. You got mental problems? Anyway, what the hell happened? I think I'm just completely brain dead, guys. I honestly I have not got much sleep in like 4 days. A little bit better the day before yesterday, but it's just been. And what's weird is like I thought drinking coffee would improve my sleep, but nothing does. It's like, I don't know, man. I got issues. I got issues. Dude, I definitely don't sub and like. Is Rio de Tortugas here? What's going on, de Rio? I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Good to have you back. So And look at what happens with CRISPR. Okay, so it pivots here last first, I guess it's probably earnings again. And then it comes up and it tests, let's just be conservative here. It tests 52 again, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Then after that, look at the shakeout. This is a shakeout of all shakeouts. It goes back like into the 20s. Remember, this was just, not long ago at 90. So it sheds more than 2/3 of its value. What do you see this whole time since then? The volume back then when they drove it down was nil. It was empty set. The volume steadily, steadily, steadily increasing all the way. And then what else do you see with the volume? All the tall areas, all the volume, all the high volume, it's all green. It's all on the uptrends. It's all buying. The downtrends, the sell-offs, quote unquote, are much, much less volume. And you get a little bit of heavy volume when they're just doing these waterfalls. But this is classic washout accumulation market maker nonsense. And when you see the filings, it's proof. It's proof positive. They're not dumping, they're accumulating. Their filings prove it. This was Q2. This is right in here. This is right in here, guys. Who they're just buying the hell out of the same dip they create. I just shake my fist at the world because people who lose money consistently in the market, you're just not paying attention or you're too stupid to do it. And then what do you see after this? Okay, so it breaks through this convincingly, plenty of volume, and then, drops back down on low volume, tests the line, bounces right off, gaps up, huge volume comes in here in the 60s. Just tons of buyers in here in the mid 60s. There's even, some buyers up here in the upper 60s. They're making a market here. This wasn't just falling, but they price fix it down. It's the same market makers pushing it up and pushing it down. I don't know how many retail shares there are even left in the stock, but what happens again, it hits this line almost exactly and then bounces off. And then you just see just more and more green volume. Look at the lines, guys. The red versus, I know it's not Christmas, and I know this is oversimplification, but I just chart like a caveman. I don't try to read the tea leaves or, throw chicken bones on the ground or tarot cards or anything. I just look at what it is. This is the pivot. It's bounced off it twice. It's double tapped. It's made a big middle finger above the line. And I don't think it's going to break back down below that 52 line. If it's not going to break that back down below 52, it's going to go back above 70. Okay, you could argue it might get hung up here like around 63, 64, but I really don't think so. I think, if anything, the resistance is here at this pivot. You see this pivot here between this consolidation and this BS algo hold spooky ghost consolidation? You can see more better here. I'm in the wrong spot here. This is a very limited sample because you're talking about just like 4 months, but it's still there. This is still a pivot here at 66, but I think it's going to break through that and not going to hit any resistance till around 70, 71. But I think it's actually going to break that down, go back to triple digits. And why do I think that? Well, you guys, I'm invested in Vertex. I don't have nearly as much Vertex as I have CRISPR. It's not a huge position for me, but Vertex just got absolutely destroyed. I guess I could pull up their chart. They just got absolutely destroyed. And why? It wasn't because their earnings were bad. It was because their pipeline failed. Like, they had this new pain drug. I don't know all the details. I'm obviously not a science person, not that smart. But they had a new pain drug, and so their earnings were actually good. They got beat by 27 cents, 6%, but the stock absolutely crashed, and all the analysts just cut their ratings. I guess actually Wells Fargo maintained their rating, but they crashed from 472, and then the stock closed at 375, so lost $100 in value in one day. And why? Because their pipeline, everything in pharma is pipeline. because the market is supposed to be forward looking. Now, if you have a cash cow, that's great. You're going to milk that, you're going to get dividends, and Vertex makes a ton of money. But the problem is it's like a hangman's risk. Like most of it is centralized in one particular drug. So I think that's why they aggressively pursued the Casgevy relationship with Vertex, but I think they overpaid for that perhaps. They say the ramp is coming. And they'll be making money for many, many years. Everybody says, well, the competition is coming, but the competition has to get there. And, the Vertex CRISPR, duo got there first. And my thing is, with the failure of that pain drug, it's highly likely they're going to want to enter further partnerships with CRISPR for CRISPR's wholly owned pipeline. They have a ton of stuff. They have a ton of trials going on. I mean, Vertex needs a future. The drug that's currently making them all their money is going to wear out eventually, and they're going to get knocked off. That's just how it works. You only get to exploit it for so long, 15 years, 20 years, whatever it is. And it varies region to region how long those patents last. And you could alter it, renew the patents for all kinds of shenanigans. But bottom line, it's not forever. You constantly need to be innovating, constantly need to be bringing new products. Why there's so much, so many buyouts in this industry, and be like, well, could you buy out CRISPR? I mean, not at these prices. I don't think they're going to. I know people like, well, what would it take to buy this company? I mean, I remember listening to the CEO talk couple years ago saying he thought the stock was worth at least like 150, and this at that time I think it was at 90 or something. But I know it sounds crazy, but I believe the pipeline makes this stock worth 250 a share. I mean, look at the cardio one, look at the data. I know it's early and I know it's limited, but if you're cutting LDLs and bad triglycerides and stuff by 80% with one treatment, I mean, that's like a holy grail magic bullet type of thing. The value is astronomical. Like, well, they may not get there first. They may not. And that's why the company's not worth $1 trillion right now. But it's worth like half of the value that Vertex put on Casgevy when they bought the last 10% to take their stake from 50 to 60. I think they they paid $900 million for that 10%. Something crazy. Put a $9 billion valuation just on that one ex vivo program. So this valuation is just, in my mind, is just completely out of whack. And if you look at the smart money, it's completely unambiguous. They're screaming at you that they crashed this thing on purpose and they're going to send it up. I mean, why else would they buy 102, 150% of the shares? It just doesn't make any sense. And I know I've said this a million times, and I don't mean to beat the dead horse to death, but look at who owns this thing. Like Vertex, who also owns 60% of Casgevy, they also own a huge percentage of CRISPR Therapeutics itself. So they don't just own part of that program, they also own the stock. So it's extremely likely they could try to take over the company, try to purchase, additional rights to the pipeline, partner on the pipeline. But they're not even the biggest. Bayer owns even more stock than Vertex, and Celgene owns just a bit less, quite a bit less. And then GlaxoSmithKline also owns a ton of the stock. So they know exactly what this company's doing, and obviously they like it enough to put their money where their mouth is. So if they're willing to just buy the shares of the stock, they clearly see the future. And that's for deep-pocketed investors right there that could not either buy out the company, partner on any one of the items or all of the items in their in vivo pipeline, more of the items in their ex vivo pipeline. I mean, you guys look at the pipeline. So it's not just one thing. They have tons of stuff going on. 4 or 5 things in trials already, a bunch of stuff in the research phase. And these companies they play a long game. Sorry, a little bit of a sniffle. They're not just like looking at it for, oh, we're afraid because it's phase 1 or phase. They're fine to go through phase 2, phase 3, 5, 7 years. Because again, these drugs pay for 20, 30 years. And these companies are institutionalized. They're not flighty. It's not like tech or fintech where they're looking to do something over a period of months. They have a lot longer time horizon. Investors in pharma tend to be a lot more conservative. Now these young younger companies gene editing, of course, this has attracted a whole new generation to sort of, their entree into like pharma stocks and biotech stocks and stuff because it's new and it's exciting. It's sexy. Gene editing is sexy. No, don't tell anybody. They don't want to know. Your friends have enough problems. Anyway, that was pretty much it, guys. I mean, add it up. The chart is screaming, breakout, big leg up past 70 to me. BlackRock just increased their stake 130%, Vanguard 30%. Institutions own the entire company, and what institutions don't own, big pharma owns. Retail owns almost none of this, and it's heavily, heavily, heavily shorted, and the same companies that are shorting it are long it. So it's all fixed. It's all rigged. And people are like, well, is it just hopeless then? Of course not. All you have to do is just understand what's going on and just buy that. Imagine you could have just bought this stock below 30. You'd already be up 100%. I mean, I bought it in the low 30s, but I didn't catch the bottom. But, I'm a bottom specialist. Anyway, guys, that's all I had for you today. I want to thank the great Nautilurk. I want to thank the great Princess J. I want to thank Big Dog. Everybody who makes this show possible. We'd like to thank the great Alberto Berti Aviles. I'm not sure where he's off to. Haven't seen him in a little bit. Get back here. Get back here, Alberto. We need you. We miss your goatee. That beautiful face of yours. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate everybody. Clap my dog. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate you. Always here. Javier, thank you. Appreciate you, man. Everybody, just don't be afraid to take profits. If you're like, oh, I don't care if it's SoFi. I don't care if it's Palantir. Be smart, guys. You can't spend, you can't spend smugness. You can't spend arrogance. Don't be too greedy. Take care of yourself. Don't act to impress others. Don't act for your ego. Do what's in your best interest. You don't follow fat people online. You do you. Don't care what other people think. Other people are shit. Take care of yourself. Like nobody else is watching your back. Well, Danny's watching your back. You always need a fat friend, especially if you need a hug. I'm a good hugger. Strong man boob game. Okay, I say there's no upside to man boobs. You need a hug. You need like another big sweaty fat guy needs a hug. Sometimes you find a fat guy just crying on a corner. Man boobs come in handy, a little buffer zone. But that's neither here nor there. Javier sold 7 covered calls, 59 through September 12th. I have to look, Javier. I have to look at the options chains. I can't process that right now because I'm a big dumb idiot.